How has it been for you guys working together, husband and wife and business partners? Has it been a challenge or like what have you guys had to work through?
Because you guys probably never argue. You never get on each other's nerves.
Oh, we were in a full-out fist fight right before we jumped on this podcast. What are you talking about? You want to start?
Sure. Well, it's interesting because we just got married like a year and a half ago. So when we started doing all of this stuff together, we were just dating, and there was no, like, when you're dating, there's no promise to each other.
Yeah.
And during that time, it would have been the easiest to fight and get really mad at each other, or make something a bigger deal and be like, I'm done. I can't handle this anymore. And Robert was always the one that really wanted to build a business. And I was like, I just want to like have a family and some animals and land and just have a little house, you know? And so I feel like the entire time, Robert really just went after it. And I had kind of the job of just being the supporter and then filling in where he needed me. And I think that is what caused us to work so well together. And during, the beginning periods of building a business, I mean, now it's hard at times, but during the beginning phase, that would have been the easiest time to say like, I really don't want to, like this is just not worth it. But it made us so much stronger, and it made us learn so much more about each other, and you work through those hard times and you celebrate all the good times. And then I guess I decided to marry him.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, there's been times where we're like, what are we doing right now? I mean, it's just a huge strain on relationships, like there's no separation between work life, home life. There's no balance. I mean, balance just does not exist. It's all intertwined. But like when you're passionate about what you're doing and you're both sharing that same passion, I mean, we live and breathe what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And we did so like innately because we wanted to individually, not because I pushed her to do something or she pushed me to do something. But when we do that and we build what we have, it's like I wouldn't want to do it any other way. I wouldn't want to be doing this alongside somebody else. Like I want my wife to be right there beside me. And I feel like we have that, and it makes it hard at times for sure, but I feel like it also makes it so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like just how I started keto, or just how I started, doing bodybuilding and things like that. He brought on the idea, and then all of a sudden I was like, this is really cool. I want to do this, and it just brought in more of like a passion for me. So I am able to be his kind of support, but we also do very different jobs when it comes to the business. So we're not competing for who's going to do what when. It's just we both know kind of how each other works, and that makes it really easy. But, as he said, there are the hard times of when do you stop talking about work and when do you start talking about the rest of your life? And but I think it's all worth it, and I wouldn't want to work for someone else or with someone else. And it can be really hard, but I think all the challenges make you so much better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because this is loaded with challenge. You're got the walk that you guys have chosen, the walk that we've chosen, and we have our times where we're like, this isn't working. But then we're like, okay, what's the alternative? I could go get a job. I could work for somebody else. I could do something that I'm not passionate about. Or we could live the dream as entrepreneurs together, doing something that we're both passionate about. And I'm either going to be in a meeting doing with somebody else that I'm working with because we work for the same company and we're assigned a task, and I could be in a meeting with somebody else, or I could be in a meeting with my wife, who I love and who's my favorite person in the world, and we can put anything that we're frustrated about aside and be mature and handle this as professionally as we would in any other type of business environment. So it's the fine line. It's hard work.
It takes special people for sure. I mean, when sexy time revolves around accounting spreadsheets, like something's different. Most people can't relate,
Yeah.
Wait till kids are thrown into the mix. Then you really got to schedule it.
Yeah. Everything revolves around nap time. I heard it. One of my favorite comedians said, he's like, hey, I'm feeling in the mood right now. And he's like, no, hey, why don't we, and she's like, I'm not in the mood. And he's like, I'm not either, but both of our kids are asleep. So the enemy's asleep. Let's move it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we have, except it's employees instead of kids.
Oh, so yeah, there you go. How long was it before you guys hired your first employee?
Well, we hired like my brother, my cousins, like we had my family as, quote unquote employees helping out pretty quickly in the game. And then once it grew to a point that it has now, like we brought on, who was our first official employee? Kayla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we really started making the bricks in the kitchen in March, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually found these buildings in August. And I think we officially made her our first employee, I think like the beginning of September.
Of 2018?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. God, your guys' biggest business is much younger than what I realized. That's pretty, that's outstanding.
We launched, Keto Savage was launched in July of 2016. That's when I wrote that book. That's when I launched the website. And then Keto Brick was launched in March of 2018.
Yeah. So our marketing manager, our VP of sales, he's a part owner of our company, and something that he has taught me to help us get as far as we've got now is that selling a product is much more is much more appealing to the average person and much easier than selling the concept of personal growth. So coaching services, I guess we would categorize those as and a lot of what your guys' content is we would kind of consider as being personal growth. But when you came out with your product, did that like exponentially skyrocket your guys' earnings, or was it more of just what brought more attention to your brand?
Yeah, so the bricks took off really, really quickly, and I don't know why. I think it was just a lot of it was timing. I mean, we launched the keto bricks right when 2018 was when keto was super hot. That's when it was like top diets Googled and whatnot. That's when the trends were really good. That's when all the algorithms were working for keto. And then we had this keto product and it just like really took off. I mean, we were having a hard time scaling because we couldn't build up any inventory. I mean, they'd sell out literally. Our first several launches were selling out in less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
We'd spend like weeks making these things by hand, and then we'd have them all, we'd count them all, we'd put them on the website, and they'd be gone in 2 minutes. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then now, like we've been able to build up some inventory, have some employees, and really streamline our operation. But from like a just overall revenue standpoint, absolutely, having the physical products increased overall revenue, but it's also increased overall overhead. With just with a computer product or with coaching, there's not really much overhead. You've got to pay for website hosting, maybe a couple subscriptions, subscriptions, but that's pretty much it. With the bricks, it's like, there's all kinds of expenses, but it's like, it's just part of business,
Well, you probably have a lot more, like, because our products aren't consumables, but your guys' are. So you probably have permits and a lot more regulations and a lot more red tape you need to follow.
Yeah, the health code. That's where Crystal's really shine. She kind of does the ringleading on all the health code regulations and whatnot. But it's kind of daunting at first, but once you actually start diving into it, you just start jumping through the hoops, and you get some momentum going, and then you just keep knocking them out.
Yeah, you just become really good friends with the health department.
Yeah.
You're like, can I have this? Should I have this?
Yeah.